Alrighty, so now that we have taken a brain break, let's skinny up to the second page. So we are going to be looking at this page right here in the notes that it says functions of the cell membrane. So on this page, we talked about just what is it. Now let's get more into, okay, well, what does it do? All right, so skinny up here. This one is a little bit more wordy, word heavy, if you will. So let's see what we can do to kind of cut some of that down. All right, so looking here, I'll just look over at the top left. It says transport, okay? So one of the functions is transport. It says the cell membrane separates the inside of the cell from the external environment. Okay, well, duh. But, okay, so maybe separates. Alrighty, and then it says it controls what can enter and exit. Okay, I would definitely say that it controls what can enter and exit. To be an important factoid, that is called semi-permeable. Basically, just, okay, so think about the video that you guys watched last week in the club. So it is the bouncer that is standing there allowing things in or keeping things out. Alrighty, there are the channel proteins, which you already saw right there, and are also right there. So transport channel proteins are there. There are also carrier proteins that assist things in or out. Alrighty, and the carrier proteins are more specific. Okay, so out of that side, I would say that that would be the important parts and portions. Alrighty, then right here we have cell adhesion. Okay, now on the test, there was somebody that had a question about the cohesion and adhesion. Okay, so remember that adhesion is going to allow it to stick to things. All right, so various molecules, including types of glycoproteins, with the help of adhesion, allows cells to stick to each other. Okay, allow cells to stick to each other and form tissues. So, like my heart is able to stick together because of adhesion. All of those cells are sticking together, and all of those heart cells are forming heart tissue. Alrighty, and then right below there, oh snap, it went away. There we go. Okay, right here, cell recognition. Cells are able to send signals and receive signals, which means they have to recognize one another. My lung cells have to recognize other lung cells. My lung cells have to be able to recognize other cells within my body as well. Alrighty, so let's see what we can determine as important. All right, glycoproteins and glycolipids act as markers on the surface of the cell. I would say every bit of that is important because it's new and you've never heard it before. And it also has some $3 words in there of glycoprotein and glycolipid. Don't use them out in public if you don't know what they mean. Yeah. Already it says they allow the immune system to recognize the body as itself, or if it's not that, then it can recognize invaders and destroy them. All right, so cell recognition, I would say that those two things are the important parts. Okay, so now looking in the middle with what looks like avocado, but it is two little cells. Do you have to label that? I mean, if you really want to, go for it. I think it's cute. Besties forever. Besties for the resties. And then let's see what we've got here. Glycoproteins or glycolipids. Once again, we've got a white blood cell that's the security. Then we've got another cell. You make your decision as to whether or not you want to label those. All right, so now right up here, it says doodle the molecules moving across the membrane. Super important because on this previous page, you labeled what it actually looks like. Now on this page, you're saying, okay, now what does it look like when it's moving? So I think every bit of that labeling is going to be important because it also goes into saying, all right, well, the first thing it's going to do is the molecule attaches to the protein, and then the protein is going to change shape. It's literally going to morph to the molecule that is coming through it, and then it's going to allow the molecule in or out. All right, last little home stretch here, okay, so cell signaling. You have to send out a signal in order for another cell to recognize it, so therefore, cells need to communicate. It says the signaling molecule is attached to the receptor proteins. All right, I would say that would be important. This causes the receptor protein to change shape. There you go. And it says it gives the example of production of a certain protein triggering cell division. I would say maybe that putting the example of cell division would be important because that is the next topic or unit that we get into with Unit 3 of cell division with mitosis. So maybe possibly put that as an example there. All right, and then this little graphic right here is showing that cell signaling. So I would say that would also be something that I would include in. All right, y'all, so that is another 6-minute long look at this page, and I know this was kind of a lot of writing, but this is some pretty heavy content, y'all. We are really starting to get into the meat and potatoes, if you will, of biology and what makes life and everything that's living really awesome. But it's really awesome because it's really complicated. So go ye therefore do awesome, amazing things. Get this filled out, and then after you get this done, there is, as per usual, a quiz that is attached with it. All right, now listen to me here and don't get mad at me, because my sweet darling angels, now when you go in and take this quiz, because I'm an observant human being, I noticed that there were some very generous human beings that were allowing other people to see their answers and therefore score 100. You will no longer be able to see what ones you got. Well, you will no longer be able to see the correct answers. Okay, reason being is because I want you guys to actually dive in and learn this stuff. I think you learned from the Unit 1 assessment that we've got some work to do on your end of you starting to build yourself up and become a little bit more of a student and a little bit less of a passive taker-inner of the knowledge. You have to become a little bit more active in the process. So, moral of the story, open up this quiz. It will allow you to take it once, and then when we are back in class on Thursday and Friday, you will get your score released to you, and then you will get the opportunity to do the redemption. Now, redemption on these quizzes, my darling dears, is not 100% redemption like the test was. This is half credit. So do not go through this quickly. Do not do this before you do the notes. Make sure you really dive into the content and understand it before you lock yourself into the quiz. Alrighty, Rue, so I've talked way too much on this Valentine's Day, getting prepared for you guys. I hope you have an absolutely beautiful rest of your day and whatever it is that you are doing. And know that I love you to the moon and back times 42 plus infinity, and I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. Alrighty, y'all, I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace out.